So I'm really enjoying the Axial vehicles right now. So I've gone through the Exoterra and the Wraith, and then I did 2 SCX10s. There's not too much more in the Axial product lineup. That's kit. Actually, I don't think there's anything else in the Axial lineup that's kit. So I decided to go with the Ridgecrest. The box is so big I can't even get it all on screen in my little area. But here's the AX10 Ridgecrest. This is kind of like the Wraith. I hear that this is the predecessor to the Wraith. This is a ready to run, which means it has the ESC and the motor, and comes with the radio and the receiver. It's a little different than what I normally do. Of course, I started with ready to runs, but it's been quite a while since I've done a ready to run. But I also got a couple things to change it to my likings. So once I get it open, I'll figure out what I need to do to change it up and go from there. So right now I'm going to open the box. It might be a little hard to see everything I'm doing, so I'm not even going to worry about it so much. Just cracking the seals. I've never opened the Axial ready to run before. They've all been kits, full bags of parts. So this is a new experience for me as well. Big drawback already, and without even having the box open, is knowing that the parts aren't going to be waterproof. That's just kind of bugging me. I've already been looking at a few waterproof options. Oh, there's so many seals on this thing. There's the high-tech servos and the Traxxas servos. This has a fairly decent servo on it already. Just box stock, so I think I'm going to run this one. I've heard people running this servo in water with no problems. I probably won't have the same luck, but I'm going to give it a try just to see what happens. I mean, if I heard something, I was going to change the servo anyway. So immediately I open the box and the manual falls out. Manual, a few stickers, the receiver antenna, and the Axial ad. Looks like a few spare parts. Maybe some option parts, I don't know. Like I said before, I've never opened the Axial vehicle before. There's a few ball ends. Those look like maybe just replacement parts in case something breaks when there's a new drive shaft in there. New servo horn. A couple other things. Looks like a servo saver in there. It's a little bag of parts. There's an Axial radio. It's the first time I've seen one of these. It's called an AX3. I know another guy that drives with one of these. He doesn't mind it at all. Seems a bit plasticky. Seems a lot plasticky. Yeah, this is not being used. I'll either give this away or sell it or something. Yeah, that would be perfect. This is great. This is great because I mean, you got a radio system, 2.4 gigahertz radio system. I mean, it came free with it. You can't beat that. I'm sure it works fine. I'm a Spectrum guy myself, so that's that. So I think that's everything. And there comes the Ridgecrest, which is bigger than I thought it was going to be, and also much narrower than I thought it would be. Do not like the body so far. Not a big fan of the body. Actually, before I even opened the box, ordered a clear body to paint up. Suspension seems just a bit stiff. Big hole in there for the antenna, which I won't have. I said it was narrow, but that might be the same width as my Wraith. Let's get it out of the box and take a closer look at it. They did a hell of a job wrapping this thing up. That whole panel comes out. Use some scissors to snip the zip ties. There's one on each end of the axle, front and rear. 4 zip ties. So the truck should be disconnected. Flip her over. There she is. It's got a similar stance to the Wraith. About the same size, I would say. Much narrower body. Skinny body. Pretty stiff suspension, I would think. That'll be immediately loosened. Oh well. So you got fairly decent articulation. It's squeaking out of the... It might just be the tires though. Got the 2.2 rip saws on there. Looks a lot from like the Wraith from beneath. It's got those off-center axles. It's got that Wraith receiver box in there. Plastic links all around. That soft, really soft, needing to be replaced plastic. So that'll be a immediate initial upgrade. Just servo, I just don't know about. I've heard good and bad things about it. I know it's not going to be as good as my Hi-Techs. I might just switch it up. Decent body, but it's still getting switched out. A little bit of exo tubing that runs standard on the Axial vehicles. Oh wow, that doesn't look so much like the Wraith underneath. You had that really soft tubey body. Well, it looks really slick without the body on it. There's a servo that's just driving me crazy already, and I haven't even run it. I may run it and it's a fine servo. I don't know. I don't think it is. It doesn't seem like the tires are the R35. I'll be doing something about that. From what I understand, this compound isn't as grippy. It does seem a little bit stiffer than the kit compound. if this has drag brake, which I think it does. Yes, it has drag brake. Might not be on yet. I'll connect that up to the Castle system and see how I can make that work better. The shocks aren't in the end positions. It might be a personal thing. Battery tray is mounted in the back. I'll be switching that up front. The AE2 ESC with the 20 turn motor in there. I've actually already ordered a 55 for that as well. Little side mounted switch. That's nice. Adjustable links on the sides. Oh, it's not so bad. It's got a lot of similarities to the Wraith. A little bit of different shock structure. I think it's a little shorter than the Wraith. I kind of like it so far. Not too pleased with that. That's bendy plastic right there. I don't know why that would be moving that easily. I like this receiver box. That's the same receiver box that's on the Wraith. It does a good job of keeping the elements out. Not too big a fan of this mount though. That's gotta go. That's rather unimpressive. This battery tray is kind of small as well. Might need to do something about that. Got those Tamiya plugs, I believe they're called. I'll be switching those out for Traxxas. Just because that's what I started with. All my batteries are Traxxas plugs. So I need to switch to Traxxas. From my standpoint, from the way I think, it's too late in the game to change now. The only thing I would change to is Deans, and I don't see a big enough advantage from Deans over Traxxas connectors to warrant the switching of multiple RCs. So I'm going to stick with my Traxxas connectors now. The receiver is going to come out of the box. That has a axial receiver in there. I'm pulling that out and putting the Spectrum SR201 in there. I chose this over the waterproof version simply because I know that it'll fit in here. The waterproof version's a little bit bigger, and this does a good job of keeping the water out of it, even if I happen to submerge it, which I don't see happening too often because of that ESC that's there. I will be submerging the servo. If it lasts, great. If it doesn't, it'll get replaced with the high-tech or Traxxas servo, which I'm not a big fan of, but I have mixed feelings with Traxxas servos. They work. They do what they're supposed to do. If you break them, you can fix them, and they're factory waterproof. Not the best servo in the world, but factory waterproof servo guaranteed. So the shocks don't have the bump stops on them. That's a good thing. All the other Axial vehicles have bump stops on them, and they're wound up so high that the shock isn't even really making contact with the bottom of the adjuster. So I have to take a look at that. I'll probably be lightening up the oil a little bit. I bet anything they have 30 weight in there. That's what they ship with all the kits. So I would assume that's what's in here now, even though it does seem a little bit lighter than stock. I don't know if you can tell, but this is really loose. Also went ahead and got bead locks for front and rear. These are Axial 2.2 bead locks, same as what I put on my Wraith, but different color. I got the black ones for the Wraith. These are like a black chrome. I didn't buy these so much for the looks as for the option to customize the weight. There you go, out of the box. they look alright. They're a little flashier than I would like, but they're here to serve a purpose and not look good. So I could worry about stripping the chrome and all that, but yeah, I'll just keep it the way it is. And that's about it for now. Guess I'll immediately start looking into things I'll need to upgrade. Weak points. These links absolutely have to be switched. That just won't work. See what I have to do about the drivetrain. See if the drivetrain's strong enough. The front links, same weak point there was on the Wraith. These front links, you can see them. They stretch, they bend. Axial designed, I believe Axial designed them this way for a little give, but I don't want a little give. I want it to be a strong connection. Be switching out the servo horn for a metal servo horn as well, as soon as I settle down on what servo I'm going to use. So, but yeah, I got a 55 turner motor coming and a new body for it, because I'm not a big fan of red. This body is completely red and awkward. So that's the Axial Ridgecrest. I'll put updates on my channel as I do more work on it, and I'll post running videos as soon as I get it out.